Morning guys, welcome back to Bareham Engines. First job of the day, and we are back to work. The electricians have been yesterday. I'm going to show you around the workshop in a moment guys, just to show you our new fancy lights under the cabinets, etc. But my first job of the day is machining a set of valve cutouts in pistons for Bob Dove Motorsport. So these pistons here for an Alpha, you can see it's got the cutouts in already, but Paul wants a little bit more clearance, so I've got to go down 20 thou and come out about 20 thou on this diameter as well. So not a major job guys, just a little bit of a Heath Robinson setup. So this is the way I normally do it. Many of you engineers out there are going to say, what the hell are you doing? But whatever works guys, as I've always said. So what I do is put a couple of pins in the piston here, obviously remove the circlips. This is the sort of clamping system that I'm going to use. What I'd normally do to get the correct sort of position for the piston each time is I'm just using one of these studs as a bit of a spacer. So what that does is I push the piston up against there, and that allows it to sort of sit where it's going to sit in the middle there. Then I can get a clamp on each one and just nip it up really. So these are the studs here that we use for clamping through this bar on the Cosworth pistons, but save me just make another bar, because obviously one day I will make a series of different diameter bars, but we don't do it very often. Most of the time we just do the Cosworth, so nearly every set I get has got a different pin diameter. So yeah, that's a work in progress. So what I've got to do guys, now I've got that clamped firmly on the base, what I've got to do is get the angle correct. So the way I normally do it is just slacken off these two nuts either side of here, and that allows this jig to move like that. And then just using the base of that chuck, which I know a lot of you are going to say, what the hell? You see that is pretty much level there. So you just move that until you can't see daylight either side, nip that up, and I would say that that is fairly parallel now. So all I'm going to do now guys is get my end mill in there. I need an end mill that's obviously a bigger diameter than the existing pocket, because when I go down 20 thou it's going to open that out. Okay, so we'll remove this chuck now, get our end mill in there, and go down 20 thou. Now many of you, while we're on the subject of Bob Dove Motorsport guys, a lot of you have been asking in the comments, where the hell's Paul gone? Same as you did when where's Carlos gone? Didn't really explain. So I'll just tell you the deal with Paul. So when Paul was starting out sort of taking over Bob Dove Motorsport from his dad Bob, because he was on the, I suppose he was just sort of starting out and trying to get enough work in there to make a living basically. He did have a job somewhere else that he was working sort of part-time. So I said, if you want to jack that job in and come and work for us whenever in between your jobs, then I'm more than willing to have you whenever really, just to sort of tide you over. Gives him a bit more practice obviously with building the engines etc, and learning a bit more about engineering. So that was the deal guys. But now obviously Paul is a lot busier with his own work, and he's managing to have enough work there to earn a living and work full time. Then that is the reason he hasn't been in, to be honest guys. But he's always welcome here. Paul's a great friend of ours, he's a great worker. Yeah, he's always welcome here whenever he wants to sort of work here. We've got enough work for him, but it worked well with us because we didn't really have enough work to employ him full time, but he sort of ended up doing 2, maybe 3 days a week, which was absolutely fine. So I no doubt if I sort of said to Paul, look, I really need you, could you come and help me, then he would come in. But he's got enough to do guys. We have, and on the other side of it, what we decided to do was just drop the sort of amount of engines that we're doing so we could cope with just the 3 of us, John, Isaac and myself. So really we sort of didn't need anyone else, because obviously it's just more weight on my shoulders, and obviously at the time I was suffering a little bit. So yeah, all works very well. Obviously Paul still brings all his work here, so yeah, everyone's happy. he's busy enough, which is what we've always wanted. Same with Mikey on the fabrication side. Just looking forward to getting that E30 back now. Hello everyone. How long has it been since I've sat in this office and had a little grumble? Eh? Been months, innit? To be honest with you, just looking in the camera now, I don't know whether it's me, but from the last time I did a video like this under this light, and now I've gone a little bit more grey. Got to be the stress, innit? Anyway, I need your help, guys, and that is the reason for this little bit of the video here. So, I had an email last week. Something's popped up out of the woodwork. Right, if we go back to probably getting on a year. If you watched our videos regularly, you would have watched one probably around a year ago-ish about an MGB. To cut a long story short, you're going to have to go back and look at those MGB videos if you want to know the full story. But basically, we did an engine for a MGB. There was a garage that was piggy in the middle to the customer. We actually did it for the garage. The car then come back because it had, it was poor running or something like that, or it was using oil, burning oil or something like that, smoking. So the car come back to us. We had a little look. It turns out we took the head off and all that just to check that the bits that we'd done, because it's easy enough on that, were okay, like the rings and the head and valve stems and all the rest of it. But it actually turned out that when we stripped the diaphragm out of the breather, the diaphragm was split, so obviously which would make the carburettor not be able to be set up properly and all this. So that's what we found. Anyway, the garage that was piggy in the middle, or was doing the job, installed the engine. They obviously didn't check that side of it, and it all kicked right off. They said it was all our fault and it was the rings that were crap and all the rest, but it's the rings that we've used on a lot of stuff, never had any problems before. But anyway, the customer then later on down the line decides that he took it from, for whatever reason, he's took it from that garage to another specialist, and they sorted a few problems out. He then sends us a letter. He wants us to pay 2 bills. One, the present garage, who's got it, the specialist, for a few little bits. It was a couple of £100 odd. And then another bill for the previous garage, the one that really kicked off. We turned around and said, look, we will pay the specialist one because there's a few little bits that we knew would probably have to be sorted out once it left here, because the garage that we were involved before didn't really want it back all finished. They wanted to sort of get it running themselves, but we just got it running to make sure it wasn't smoking. Anyway, so we said we'll pay that bill, but we're not going to pay the other bill. So that's what we did. He then sent us a letter. This was all around sort of June, July-ish. He sent us a letter saying, look, he wants us to pay this previous garage's bill of 300 odd quid. Otherwise, he's going to take us to court. And we said, well, we're not willing to do that, simple. Anyway, it all went quiet. This was sort of running up to August. All went quiet. Then last week, guys, I had, it's raised its ugly head. He said he's been in hospital for a while, for a short spell. And he wants us to pay, I'll just have a little look here. He wants us to pay £324 of the previous garage's bill for things that they said they had to rectify that we didn't do, which they specifically said that they didn't want to do and us doing in the first place. I haven't answered him yet. He said if he don't hear from us, he's going to proceed with the court proceedings, really, to get the money. It ain't a lot of money, guys, but without me paying it just yet, I thought I'd ask you what you think. I know there's a few guys on here that watch that are involved or been involved with law, etc. What do you suggest I do, guys? Is it one of those where I just buckle over and say for the sake of it, just pay them? Or do we just say, no, we don't think we have to pay it? What are the courts going to say? It's one of them, isn't it, really? What we think's right and what he thinks right is one thing, but how will the courts see it? So, yeah, I just thought I'd ask your advice. Please put down in the comments below what you think. Okay, guys, let's show you what has been going on yesterday. So we've had Brad and Graham in from Rural Electrics. Cannot praise those guys enough, to be honest with you. Brad comes in as soon as I give him a bell. He's in within a couple of days. and he works really, really neat and tidily and gets the job done pretty fast. So what has he done? Start from this end, guys. We've got a nice waterproof plug, double plug socket there. It's obviously for the time being, pressure washer. We were going to have a double plug socket on here, but with that we don't really need to. So we've got a double plug socket over there. We've got plenty of plug sockets down here. We've got 2 on the back wall there, so obviously for my laptop and for charging the tools, etc. We've got 1 over there. We've got 1 down there. We've had a double plug socket put at the back for the TV, etc. The cable up there, guys, is the big lights are at the minute still plugged into the mains, and the reason for that is because Brad said it kept tripping out on the big one off the light switch, so he's got to replace something. I don't know, it's electricity, I don't know anything about that. We've got the 3 light switches there, so we've got one that does the main hex ones, we've got one that does our really flashy sign light, which I think looks absolutely lovely, and at night from outside it looks mental. And then we've got one that does the under cabinet lighting. So you can see there, Brad's laid out the LED strips going through the cabinets there, nicely drilled with some grommets in there, looks absolutely lovely. And these are the RGB ones, guys, that we can change the colour on. So it comes with a nice fancy remote. And if I just go onto that lot, we can press whatever colour we want. Nice little blue, we can have a nice yellow, we can have the Barum orange. So yeah, looks absolutely lovely. Really, really happy with that. And we can go the white with the colour, or we can go the solid colour on its own. So yeah, it looks really, really nice at night. So yeah, just a nice little feature, guys, for the extra money. You may as well, haven't you? So that has made a hell of a difference to the lighting on the cabinet. You can see these lines here where the light comes from the strips. And this was a bit of a black corner, this. But it's lit it up really, really nicely. Nothing too harsh. It's just you can see what you're doing now. So really, really happy with that. Thank you very much, Brad and Graham. So as soon as he's just sorted that light switch out for the main hex lights, we're away and rolling, guys. We've had another little delivery today from Pat Williams. So you have a look down here. Look, these are the tools that we ordered for Isaac. So we're going to be putting these in that drawer over there, filling that up in a moment. So we've ordered 2 sets of these little trays to start with. We're trying to find a little home for these. These are probably going to be used for, obviously, the nuts and bolts and what have you. I was thinking maybe underneath the TV on the wall there. Don't know yet. Or we could fix them, sort of have another one, and we could be putting them sort of on the wardrobe at the side here and use it for the engine nuts and bolts. We've got a bit of airline they've sent us. Just to try. We're probably going to go hardline airline across the top here now, and run the actual, the air hose off that. Probably some of this bungee stuff. I don't know yet. We've got to have a think. But the Sealy Premier tools are what we've gone for, guys, and these are really good value. Pretty sure, yeah, lifetime guarantee on these as well. It's really good stuff for the money when you consider how much snap-on is. So we've got, basically what I've done is replicated all the snap-on tools I've got in there as much as we can. We've got another hone just to stick in the drawer. We've got a nice, just little things like this really just to stick in there. So we've got, I mean, we've already got all these, but it's nice to just have a nice clean set. Same with these drills. Just have a nice brand new set just in case you want to do anything nice. We've got 3 torches here, rechargeable. These are quite handy to have in your pocket. But what I have ordered is 2 of the Sealy rechargeable lights, but they come with a docking station, so it's wireless charging. You just put them on the docking station, they charge. So I've ordered those, guys. But yeah, so we'll unload these. We've got another torque wrench, a decent Premier Black Series torque wrench. So Isaac's got pretty much everything he needs now. And as I say, we can load up these drawers down here. Left these all nice and empty. So he's got one in his bay. So let's get them unboxed and get them laid out in the drawer. So guys, I've finished that job for Paul Dove. And I'm back in the clean area here, just another couple of changes. So all the tools, etc. that Isaac had for his drawer, you can see he's put these away now. Got some nice sockets there. all the sort of the Premier stuff with the lifetime guarantee. All pretty good stuff there. Impact driver set, a few little bits and bobs there that you can sort of keep clean and safe, etc. Screwdriver set he's got on the side. So these here, guys, these tubs you see there, I've set them on, instead of bolting them to the backboards, I put them on hangers. So what we can do here, we've got sort of 9 for each engine. We can just use these for little, the nuts and bolts off the engine, just a bit tidier, looks a little bit neat. We've got one down here as well on my bay. So yeah, a few little bits and bobs. The torch here, the rechargeable little torch, and we've got one here which has arrived very quickly. I thought this would be about a week, but this is the lights with the cordless charging station. Very, very handy indeed. Saves keep pulling the cable out and breaking the end off it eventually. So yeah, really happy, guys. We've ordered one more down there to go on this bay, and then that is that. Then we're pretty much sorted for at least 6-7 engines at a time. As for this sort of clean area not doing the trick, guys, like I say, we've had 3 engines coming this week. We've just had another phone call now. I've got an Audi S3 engine coming in, albeit it's in bits, but that's a suspected main bearing gone, so might have to line bore the block and fully sort that out. So it does seem like this flashy area is doing the trick, guys. Looks very professional. We're really happy, and it's bringing the work in, so absolutely ideal. But until another video, thanks ever so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a good evening.